Hello, Miss Talisha. Awesome, thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Tanny, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome, awesome.
Good. How's everything going?
Good, can't complain.
Good.
Can't complain. We are already recording. We've got a couple of guests already.
Okay.
Once Eric and Cory come on, we will share to Facebook, but we're not doing that yet until we all get here.
Okay. I'm going to minimize this for 1 minute.
Hi, Eric.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey.
Eric, that's Tanny. Tanny, that's Eric.
Hello, Eric.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. All right. All right.
and we're already recording. We've already got a guest, a few guests actually.
Okay, great. You know, I was about to ask that too. Was it all, were we all live?
Yep, we're all set. And then once Cory comes on, I'll actually share to Facebook because I practiced that today.
Oh.
Oh, I'm fancy.
Very nice.
Oh, goodness. Did you both have a good day today?
I did. Busy. Just getting our whole group together. You see, we're on Telegram. So,
I saw that.
Yeah, we're on Telegram, and then I'm trying to make sure that free camp, that everybody can get on free camp. So, and then the things I do on a daily basis. So, had a good day.
Awesome. Awesome. I had a good day too. I didn't let anybody get on my nerves today.
There
So that was a big deal for me.
That's good.
I'm winning.
Is that like a regular occurrence, Tawana?
It really is. It really is. And my little mantra is have a great day on purpose. And sometimes it's hard to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
So as much as you try.
Right.
But I had an absolutely wonderful day today.
Good.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Hello. Somebody said hi.
All right.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Perez.
Hey, Perez. Saw Talisha in there too. Hey, Talisha.
Uh-huh. She was
Everyone.
bright and early.
Yes.
And we just need our guest of honor.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, let me tell you though. All right, I'm glad we're doing this at 7. And Perez, hopefully you feel me, Perez, when I'm about to tell you what I'm about to tell you. Listen.
Basketball game?
Yes. You beat me to it.
I'm a little excited myself, so I was like, what time is this going to be over?
I'm telling you. Listen, the company that I work with, the parent company, the joint venture company, okay, they're based in Toronto. They're Canadian based. And the owner of them, who owns them, has partial ownership of the Raptors. They're a block away from Jurassic Park. So they let the office out early today.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
Because of this. So, and I'll be honest, man. I'm just saying this, y'all. Please don't hate me on this. I'm really, anybody against the Warriors I'm rooting for them. I'm just telling you the truth. All right. I'm sorry, Californians, don't get mad at me. But I'm gonna tell you, before this, when it was Milwaukee, I was talking a lot of stuff. I was talking a lot of trash. So I have had to, now I'm 100%. I've been going for the Raptors since the beginning. But before that, I was out there. I was talking a lot of mess. So I had to pay for it. It is what it is. But I am 100% going for them. I'm going for them tonight. So we'll see.
I'm only going for the Raptors because my husband was upset about the way they were talking about Kevin Durant. So I said, okay, we'll go for the Raptors. He wants them to win because he felt that they really dissed them. So I'm going to go for the Raptors.
Okay, but there you go. See, that's it. That's where I am. Strange enough, I would never thought they would be the home team that far away, but
but they are, huh?
See what happens.
All right. So. Who else joined? Charlene, Lorna, Noficia, hello. We are just waiting for our guest of honor, Mr. Cory Henry.
We'll see.
Sometimes the shoe just fits in. Now they're in the driver's seat. That's it. So, overall, it's been
Charlene.
It's been exciting. So
what time does the game come on?
9.
Okay. We'll be way finished.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have time to get snacks, get comfortable. Right. Yeah, you have plenty of time.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, because initially I think we were talking. I remember that because tomorrow one time we were trying to do a.
Yep. Yep.
So that's it. So yeah. All right.
Let me shoot him a note just to.
All right, I'm gonna shoot him a note right now. Let's see. Friends, 1 foot in the mirror, 1 foot out the door. It's like that commercial, it wasn't like the ESPN commercial. You seen that with the ladies at the bridal shower or whatever, and she's watching the ESPN app, watching the game.
I haven't seen it. I don't know what the Drake curse is, so.
What's the Drake curse, Perez? Or is it too long to type? What's the Drake curse?
Yes, right.
Oh, anybody he backs loses. Oh, that's not good. Okay.
That's exactly what happened. Just recently, there was a boxer named Anthony Joshua, and he's from the UK, and he took a picture. Yeah, there he is. Put it.
Oh, he said like he backed Anthony Joshua. Okay.
There with Drake. You know how it is with everyone with the hot rapper or whatever. No matter what, sports, rap, hip hop, it all converges together. And and this guy was overwhelming favorite. And got TKO, and they're like, "What?"
Oh,
yeah, and it was once again like, "Yep, see, like Drake, just stay away." Like seriously, like Drake, like if you were doing something, and Drake were to come and give you his endorsement, it would be like, "Okay,
Drake, no, I'm willing to take that chance, though.
Yeah, just bless me from afar, man.
Right.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's funny because he's a global ambassador for the team, so he gets a lot of heat because he's very animated on the sidelines, which he's going to be really animated tonight. But he does have a actual, kind of position. He's being a part of the team there, so it's really funny. I don't know. It's funny when I see things like that happen. Like they had a thing where they really went. They were really upset about where Drake was massaging the coach's shoulder. They were like, "Who can do that? Nobody else could do." Like nobody else could do that, but
So funny. So Cory just responded. He said he's calling in now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Juana. Oh, he said someone called him, said he can't get into Zoom.
Okay, all right. Let me tell him to, on your invites, did you guys have a dial-in number?
No, it was just clicking.
It was just the link?
Yeah, and I'm thinking that if he were to just use that same link, he could get in and then you could just promote him to a panelist, correct? I'm pretty sure that's what he did.
Well, that was a panelist link, so maybe I can give him the link we gave everybody else. We gave the attendees.
Okay.
Let me do that because you guys had special links. Let me find the attendee link. I think Audrey put it in our group, so let me find that.
I wonder if.
Okay. Sorry, guys, that it's taken so long to get started, but we appreciate you guys hanging in there with us.
Hey, Twana, I'm gonna I just copied and pasted it. Let me see if we can. I'm gonna send it to him right now. Let me see if he can.
Okay.
Hey, try this.
Oh, Perez is talking about ginger beer now. We see. I got some good ginger beer here. You need to put something good in it. You need a lime and some vodka, and make a mule.
Let me tell you, I was because I was in Jamaica for that.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's where that's the spot. That's where it comes from, y'all. Like,
yeah, the good old ginger beer.
Man, and it's so good because you know what? I'm not a person who drinks or anything like that, and it's funny at a lot of events and stuff like that. I'll get ginger beer, and most people don't know that it's that it's non-alcoholic or whatever. But and then I get in the worst mood when they say, "Well, we have ginger ale." I'm like, no,
it's not even close. It's not the same thing.
Like, what? What are you talking about?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Like, who wants that?
Hi, Cory. Can't hear you yet. I can see your name on the screen, but I can't hear you, Cory. Let me make sure I don't have you muted.
Let's see.
Nope, I don't have you muted on my side.
Yeah.
Oh.
He must have hung up and tried again.
I wonder if you tried to make him a panelist.
Okay. Okay, when he pops back on, I'll see if I can do that.
Okay, I'm gonna tell him to.
But he actually popped in to the he popped right into the panelists.
Mm-hmm.
With whatever link that was he was using.
Yeah, it sure did, yeah.
Yeah, I've got to allow participants to unmute themselves, chat. So no one should come in muted on my end. Cory, can you hear us? Cory, type something in the chat if you can at least hear me.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to call it.
No bueno. Cory? Because he's not muted.
You know, I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him on his cell.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, he's not muted. His camera's on and he's not muted. But we can't see him or hear him. Hi, Laura. I see you joined. Allison. Nice. You guys are troopers for sticking with us. Thank you. Okay. There's one phone call listener. I wonder if that's him. Let me see if that one's him. I can't click on that person. No, I don't think that's anything. Felicia, in here, I thought the Facebook Live thing was going to be my challenge tonight. I've been messing with Facebook Live since like 6 o'clock. I thought that was going to be the challenge.
Get that together.
We're going to Facebook Live tonight. I don't care if it's just the three of us. We're going to show our face on Facebook. Oh, goodness. Best laid plans.
Right?
No such thing.
Eric, just a reminder, you know you're on mute.
Yes, I want to make sure I am. Hold on.
All right, we got 9 minutes to make this work. And if we can't make it work in 9 minutes, we're going to have to come up with a plan B.
Okay.
I'm willing to give 30 minutes of my life to this cause.
If I sent him my link, he would just come up as me, right? If he was.
He could, but we could easily change his name.
Did you want to try that at all? I mean, I don't have his information.
Well, I sent him, well, clearly he was able to come in, so I don't think it's a link issue, because I sent him, actually an attendee link is the one I sent him, and then I think Eric sent him the panelist link, or he used his own. So that's how we were able to see him. I'm wondering if the sound and the video is on his side, because on our side, I can see if it's us making them mute or making them stop video, and he was clear on my end.
I just sent him Tawana another link to just see if.
Okay.
I mean, and like I said, it may be something on his side that I think is because obviously, yeah, we've seen him come in. It's just not clicking over.
Yeah. We can see you now. Can you hear us?
Right.
See us?
I'm in now.
Nice.
Awesome. Very nice.
Oh man, that was embarrassing. I apologize, and I pray that our mastery of Bitcoin is nowhere near the effort that I just put on trying to. So Cherie, thank you for your patience. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I'm in Atlanta, so you know it is crazy around here. I was accepted as one of the founding 100 members of the Herman Russell Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And
Congratulations.
I say that because for anybody who knows the Herman Russell story and the Herman Russell family, the narrative about opportunity zones, the narrative about Jobs Act is all going to flow through somebody who has demonstrated the capacity and the capability of doing projects on that scale. And that's how things will be kind of limited to our experience. But if we can attach to people who have tons of experience and have had tons of success, we can really open the oyster and begin to unfold a lot of these special tools and tricks that we have, you know, and I ultimately hoping it be some institutional money, which is what is going to be necessary for us to have real progress. So thank you for allowing me to be here, and don't let me interrupt where we're.
So we were actually just waiting for you. So what I'm going to do, Cory, and you froze, so I hope we can get you back. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share us to Facebook. And then when I come back from sharing us, then we'll introduce everyone and we'll get started with our conversation. We've got about 23 minutes because I hear there's a basketball game that we got left. So hold on, well, give me 1 minute to share this.
Very good, please. So.
I'm gonna try to stop my video. Maybe that'll help things be better. All right. My video, maybe that'll work better on this end.
Your voice is just going in and out. Are you driving? Can you pull over?
I am pulled over.
Okay.
And I'll try to get to a better spot. Is that any better?
Yes, that's much better.
Hello?
That's much
Okay,
better.
Good. So, all right. So y'all carry on. Pardon me, man.
Okay. Hold on 1 minute. We're almost live. Okay. Okay. I believe we are live. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Tawana Rivers, and thank you for joining the Black Blockchain Consultants tonight. We're going to talk to Cory Henry, who is the founder and executive director of Steam Revolution, Inc., as well as the Opportunity Zone Steam Commissioner. We also have with us Tanny Bentley, who is a member of the Blockchain Investor Group, and our very own Black Blockchain Consultant, Mr. Eric Spence. Cory, there are so many things we're going to talk about this evening, from tokenization of assets, opportunity zones, and everything in between that. But if you first start by telling us a little about yourself, let's get the conversation started. Tell us what you're doing in the community.
Oh man, first of all, thank you for having me, and I'm very excited about a lot of the things that we're doing here in this Atlanta community of I'm the founder and executive director of Steam Revolution. So we take science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics. We work with communities, disadvantaged communities, to and the current situation we're in, pardon the noise in the background, we need.
We lost you, Cory.
Black. You got me?
You're breaking up. You're going in and out.
Oh, hell.
Yep. Okay. We lost some things in the back.
Yeah.
I do want to ask Cory, because one of the things that I did see just cruising through the Steam Revolution. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there is.
All right.
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you again.
Yeah, I was just saying, I love the opportunity to tie the opportunity zone narrative to the blockchain. It's going to create a ton of opportunities for small businesses to gain access to the capital that they need in order to really start to grow their LLCs and help them become corporations. And that's the only way that they're going to be able to take advantage of the Tax Cuts Act, the Jobs Act, is by getting ultimately access to capital to do the things that they've been dreaming of doing. So, this narrative is going to be critical. Us actually making some of these things realistic and not just So I hope that's clear. There's a lot that are against this happening.
So Cory, we keep losing you. About maybe 10 steps back, you were perfect.
Yeah. Take 10 steps back and hold your leg out to the left. Keep your arm out just like
aluminum foil.
Yeah. There you go.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you now. We can hear you now. Just stay real still.
Yeah.
The key.
Mannequin challenge. We need you to do the mannequin challenge right now.
Right. So Cory, let's back up just a little bit because I don't want to assume everyone. Right, there you go.
There you go. There you go.
I don't want to assume everyone knows what opportunity zones are. So can you give us a little history, a little background, and help our audience understand what an opportunity zone is?
Absolutely. Okay, so this is not the first time that this was attempted. Back in 1968, when President Nixon was the president, they tried to do what was called Black economics. And then in the 70s and in the 80s, they came up with this enterprise zone legislation that picked out certain zones based on census tracts and based on poverty levels, okay? Now, this has worked in the past, but there was never really the money behind it because it was government sponsored and not private dollar sponsored. So in this particular go around, when they passed the Tax Cuts Act back in 2017, they coupled it with the Jobs Act. So they called it the Tax Cuts Jobs Act. Jobs was not about jobs. It was about jumpstart our business startups, JOBS. And what that did was cut a lot of regulations out that used to exist that prevented small businesses from being able to get direct access from the market straight into their businesses. You had to find only accredited investors prior to that. So now that you are allowed to have unaccredited investors, you're allowed to advertise directly to unaccredited.
We lost you again.
Yeah.
We lost you again, Cory. We lost you at you were only able to have accredited investors. Now that you're able to have unaccredited, and then you went out. Maybe he'll come back in. So Tammy, so let's finish this up a little bit. Just talking about, oh, here he is. Okay. Can you hear us, Cory?
I'm here.
Yeah, you're still going in and out. You sound automated.
I am so right. So, are we there? We're back?
We can hear you. We can hear you enough to get your full word, yeah.
Maybe by audio. Is that better?
That's better.
Okay, so let's just go by audio.
Okay.
So what I was saying was when we passed Tax Cuts Jobs Act, it was because
no, we lost you again.
Yeah.
We lost you again.
They don't want this mess.
I know. We can't. Come on. We gonna get them. We gonna give them the message. We gotta figure out how to give them the message.
We need this narrative. It's critical. We there?
I heard you say we there, so I can hear that clear.
Okay.
It's like we hear every 2 words.
Can y'all hear me?
Now, yes.
Can y'all hear me better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, Tax Cuts Jobs Act has inside of it the Opportunity Zones Act, about 138 pages down inside of it. And I'm back.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I'm telling you.
You know what?
What's going on?
I guarantee you start talking about the Raptors, everything will be just crystal clear.
Right. Let's change the subject and see what happens.
It's like a little man's walking around with a mute button, just playing around with the switches.
Somebody at Facebook is like, they don't need to know about that.
Yeah. All right,
brother, let's try this again.
Read the legislation.
Read the legislation. There you go. I heard that. Read the legislation.
Hello?
If I could just chime in about what I know about the opportunity zones. And it was presented to Biggie. So when I started investigating what it was, I understood the census tracts, I understood what was going on. But what I ran into is that as a group, Biggie did not have the capital gains, because you can only use capital gains to invest into an opportunity fund. So before that, and then with the advent of understanding that, I understood that if I was going to take advantage of the opportunity zones, I would have to do it perhaps as a business and open up an opportunity fund and then try to get capital gains to flow through my business and then use it in the opportunity zone. So actually, I've started that myself to open a corporation so that I can eventually create an opportunity fund as an LLC, and then go after some of those dollars to then invest into my community, which is in an opportunity zone.
Tanny, I got one question to ask about this too, and Cory, if you're hearing this also. Now,
I'm hearing.
read, and if this is correct or not, I have read that for the opportunity funds, they have to have that money invested by the end of 2019.
That's what I heard as well.
Is that correct? Yes.
Can y'all hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Is that correct?
As a part, so the key is to understand the Tax Cuts Jobs Act. Read it, understand how it works. The Opportunity Zone narrative is going to be about, it's a self-declaration program, okay? It's a tax program. It's not a federal government funded program. It's a privately funded program that is going to be critical for us to have deal flow, actual deals that these investors can invest in. They have 6 months from the time that they take these realized capital gains to deploy that money into the ground, whether it's in an actual real estate investment or in a qualified opportunity zone business, okay? So for us, we need to be figuring out how many qualified opportunity zone businesses can we help get dressed for the party, get properly laid out with all of their financial paperwork, all of their CIK numbers, which is what you need in order to be registered with the SEC, all of their PPMs and all of their business plans and all the stuff. Because for the next 7 years, $6 trillion is going to flow into these communities. You know, divide all of us by 6 trillion and everybody's still happy, you know? So we have to be focused on organization, infrastructure, and being able to granulate that so that anybody who takes a capital gain can eventually be an investor in some of these projects. You know, 90% of the investment dollars have to go into a qualified opportunity zone, which means 10% can go into almost anything. And you've got time to organize your taxes and your paperwork in order to hide all of the, you know, not hide, in order to maneuver all of the non-opportunity zone investments. So for us, it's just, again, it's about organization. It's about ideal organization. And there's no better place to do that than on the blockchain. Go ahead.
Hey, Cory, hey, I have a question. Now, when you say into a business that's in an opportunity zone, is that an already existing, would an already existing business in one of these zones qualify?
Absolutely they do.
So wait a minute. So this, wait a minute. Just to be straight. So if we're talking about a barbershop or hair salon or a barbecue restaurant that's in one of these zones, they would then qualify that they could receive this capital investment.
The issue is that it has to be this is not aggressive money. This is very conservative money because it's a 10-year investment. So the investor really doesn't get his best part of this investment until he's had it for 10 years, because the growth of that business is non-taxable if that investor keeps that asset for 10 years. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're not looking for something that doesn't have a strong 10-year plan. You know, so right now, I think you'll be looking at hospitals, schools, banks. I mean, in Atlanta, we've got Hollywood infrastructure. We've got, you know, you're going to be looking at communities going vertical, you know, major infrastructure deals, putting in IT, putting in servers and the cloud, using the money to set up the cloud, using the money to set up high-speed internet access, 5G infrastructure. All of these things are going to be critical to qualifying for a long-term investment that's at least 10 years secure. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, my only pushback on that is I understand that, but at the same time, I think all of us would say, we know businesses, just as I just mentioned, that are pretty much pillars in the community, that they've been there for 10, 15, 20 years, and there's no reason why they wouldn't continue that, you know, that same sort of stability.
Yeah, I think they get tied in the infrastructure as a part of consulting or as a part of, because this is going to be about votes. Think about it. You're not going to be able to bring a $200 million project anywhere unless you can get the local votes. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to be about a community of people coming together to say, I don't want that project in my community, or I do want that project in my community. And in order to get that, those stakeholders, you know, a part of the Jobs Act narrative is the piece that allows you to tie in up to 15% of the capital raised to go towards what they call affiliates, right? Affiliates, up to 15%. So if you have a $1 billion project, then according to the Jobs Act narrative, you can literally cut aside 15% to go towards people that were critical stakeholders in order to make that project happen.
Okay.
And that's how we award Aunt Billy, you know, Aunt Bessie and Uncle Ray Ray at the barbecue shop. Because, you know, at the end of the day, he's going to be critical to us, allowing us to put a major incubator in downtown Charlotte that is, you know, built on, you know, $1 billion worth of real estate. You know?
What kind of projects have you seen so far, or have you heard thus far that look like they're, you know, and I hate to use model projects or anything like that, but do look like, okay, then that makes sense, and that could probably be replicated in other communities. Have you seen something so far you've seen that's really caught your eye?
You know, most opportunity zone stuff has been, it's so new, right? They're so afraid to get one wrong and disqualify that money in any way that there have been minor reclassification type projects. You know what I mean? Where, for instance, I've seen them take over a school and repurpose it and make it into a movie studio. You know, I've seen. So we're seeing stuff like that happening where people are going in. Right now, it's mostly a real estate play, you know, because you got to own the land first before you can start looking at how to go vertical in the best way. So it's about consolidating the land in the opportunity zone first, and then coming back through with a bigger plan before you go spend money on a smaller lot when you can spend money on an entire block, you know?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you about the real estate play. Okay. what are they building? And the reason why I'm asking that is obviously, potential subdivisions or condos or apartment complexes, but looking at the place where you're putting them at, I'm trying to skirt around the G word, gentrification, are you building things that are then going to service that community, or are you building things that are going to be kind of further
That's why
outside?
To replace the community.
Yes.
We have to shift away from real estate in the sense of where somebody's going to live. We have to be focused on small businesses and major infrastructural, because look, there's 25% tariffs on China. So now we have a great demand for stuff that's made in the United States. We have to bring manufacturing back here to a degree. And we have to create a lot more things here that 3 or 4 years ago, we were perfectly fine with all that stuff being supplied in China. So drones and electric cars and all of the parts for all these cars, all that kind of stuff has to come back to somebody's community. The only place you're going to get new infrastructure investment money is in these opportunity zones.
Oh, wow. So you're looking at more so it would be much more commercial build out and factories and that sort of thing. You
got to create jobs. What good is going vertical with a bunch of places for people to stay if they ain't got nowhere to work?
Nowhere to work to pay for it, right?
Well, and let me say that a lot of this, because it is so new, a lot of education is going to be needed. These small businesses, a lot of them I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, they don't even know about the opportunity zones or opportunity funds and realize that they are in these areas. And my question to this is, it's great. The borough that I'm looking at, who is really looking to eventually start a fund, part of the pushback is what's going to happen when investors go to recoup their investment dollars. What happens to those small businesses that had this money put into them, but what happens when the investor says, okay, well, now I want to realize the gains that I made. They're worried about what happens to these communities when the investors go to cash out. So that's going to be a concern as well.
That's why that goes back to why I think we have to be smart about this is not reparations, right? This is not about everybody line up and go get your opportunity zone money.
Mm-hmm.
This is about people who are serious about running real businesses that will be publicly traded, that 100% of it will be reportable to the SEC and the IRS and the state of whatever and the federal, and everything is perfectly put together. And the beauty of all of this is that we have the blockchain, which is the way that people will trust one another in the future, in order to make everything, all of the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Because if we try to approach this from a I got the hookup ghetto point of view, we're going to miss a lot of very golden opportunities, and we're going to piss all over a narrative that has been designed for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, So we have to be smart and strategic about what we've been given access to. And this isn't for everybody. This is for very serious business owners,
right.
Very serious people who are degreed and certified and checked off and good to go. And once they've blazed a couple trails, then we can send everybody else through,
Now, how have you identified? I mean, I know in my mind, I'm thinking about just when it comes down to asset tokenization, how this could possibly be paired together. But do you have any thoughts on that? On how that could be?
I think asset tokenization can be a way that we have the community consciously protect their own opportunity zones. I think when you have a community that sees that one of their neighbors is subject to selling their home for $50,000 or $65,000, and it's gonna make their community weaker. And I think they have the opportunity to raise capital to just buy or it can be a way of being defensive and not so much just on the offense, because the key for us is making sure that the opportunity zones remain predominantly our community. And because over the next 7 years, the majority of investment dollars will be going into those zones. And every mayor, every governor, every major district, Congress, Senate, everybody is banking on their district getting the opportunity zones money if they have opportunity zones in their district.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that, I was thinking about would be for some of these businesses as they are there to have a portion of the business, if they were to able to tokenize a portion of the equity itself, and that could be offered, to the community itself.
People
to
need
buy
to learn
in.
Tokenization forces us to get dressed for the party. It forces us to properly put ourselves in position to where we're not so afraid to be able to raise capital. It takes, you can't raise capital for a rib joint. You have to actually put some real opportunities together. We got to go after some major stuff, drones, electric cars. Why are there no Black owned, or why are there no electric car companies in our communities? We need more manufacturing. We've got to put together real infrastructure. That's going to allow communities to thrive 10, 20, 30, 40 years, like what GM did and Ford did. And we've got to bring that kind of stuff back to these zones, or it's just a real estate play, and it's not going to have any long-term effect on our kids and on our kids' kids.
But in order to do that, Cory, aren't you essentially bringing the talent from outside of the community? Because historically, that type of skill set doesn't exist in the community. If it did, the communities would probably not be labeled opportunity zones.
Well, that's why I started when I heard about opportunity zones, it was inside of the narrative of STEAM Revolution. It was inside of the narrative of building the skill sets in the community, because that's where those businesses are going to pop up. They're going to pop up out of people that have a healthy understanding of the digital economy, people that are, dressed for the party and know how to get others dressed for the party, people that understand financial literacy and digital literacy, because that's what they say, 70% of jobs that'll exist in 2030 don't currently exist.
Right.
Which means there are some kids that we're going to have to teach to go and create these jobs. And those are to be the candidates that will get the investment dollars coming in. They're looking at tech. Atlanta is the fintech capital of the world. $4.4 trillion a year is in the American fintech economy, and 70% of that flows through the city of Atlanta. So we have to create more fintech knowledge. We have to kick our kids out of these nest eggs a lot earlier than 18 and put them into some areas where they can learn the languages and be able to focus on entrepreneurship in the arenas that matter the most. We don't need no more basketball players. We don't need no more rappers. We don't need no more football players. We need more people that are going to be creating solutions to major problems that's going on, whether it's going to be environmental, geo-agricultural. We got hemp. Hemp is live. That's a blockchain play right there. You want to do some, go out there and buy up some farmland with some tokenization, and let's capitalize a couple of these hemp companies. Cannabis, that's a major one, because farming is land. Farming is real estate.
Right.
So, Cory, what have you done on your end or in Atlanta to start getting the word out or getting people dressed for the party?
So for us, we've been setting up these type of events like what we're doing here, but starting to get more people engaged, because the more consciousness there is about this stuff, everybody already has kind of this collective understanding of the necessity for us all to work together, you know. On a daily basis, somebody is putting together some kind of, you know, let's get together and talk about prosperity. Let's start more businesses. More, let's, you know, it's a common narrative right now. But for us, it's about what is the best strategic play. We've got all these MBAs, all these doctorates, all these in the military, colonels and generals, and all this knowledge that's collectively in the community. I think it's about us starting to bring that together in order to create some real whoppers that we can put $1 billion, $200 billion, you know, investment narrative together, you know. But it's way more money than we have the ability to mess up, you know. Way more money than we have the ability to mess up. And what about schools? Because our kids obviously are not thriving in these school systems that we currently have put together. Let's put our effort into, instead of fighting Betsy DeVos, even though she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, let's take advantage of that and start using some of these opportunities on dollars to build schools that our kids won't feel shitty. Pardon my language. They hate it. They don't like sitting in them classrooms. They feel, you know, by the 5th grade, they failed about 85% of our boys, so that they feel inferior going all the way through middle school. They feel like they don't get it. They don't understand it. And that's ridiculous. They're twice as smart, if not 3 times as creative about different ways to do math. And who cares about algebra? I think I've used that crap like once since I graduated from West Point. I don't want, you know, so what? You know, but we're so busy trying to let them deal with the broken wing that we're not, you know, taking a hold of the reins ourselves. I think these are all infrastructure, hospitals, food deserts in our community. You know, how can you have food desert when you have land? You know, food grows out of the ground, but because they don't have a grocery store in our community, our people are buying all their food from the local damn gas station, you know? These are all things that we can fix right away, and I think tokenization will help us put a lot of these plays together so we can build stronger communities that are built from the inside out, you know, not just paying for quarterbacks and wide receivers. We got to do some blocking and tackling, you know?
Yeah. So the key is education. I mean, everything I'm hearing you say is education. We've got to get the word out. We've got to direct people to the places where they can become educated on these topics. That's a must.
We got to actually read the legislation. We can't, you know, we missed it. HUD Section 3 is a legislation that we did not read back in 1968. And now HUD spends over 90% of the money that's spent by FEMA is spent through HUD. And when that money is spent, the first 70, 80% of that is supposed to go to Section 3 qualified businesses first. Now, Section 3 qualified businesses are for residents of HUD, people that live on public assistance, public housing. That means that 70-some% of over, I don't know, 40-something billion dollars a year since the 70s was supposed to be going directly back through the communities. Instead of us being 6, 7, 8 generations deep in public housing, those should have been launching pads, not dwelling grounds. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
But because we don't read legislation, we don't pay attention. We just listen to the news and man, they've written some legislation in the last 2 years that has blown the top off for anybody that is of any color and is an American citizen. And especially if you're a veteran, oh my God. And don't be a disabled veteran, oh my God. So we just have to play our hand different. We got spades that we're not playing. Right. That's nobody's fault but us.
But ours. Wow.
So
that's our homework. Everybody watching, you don't do anything else this week, read the Tax Cut Jobs Act legislation. That's our homework.
Absolutely. And then go back and read the Community Reinvestment Act, because that is what's going to hold the banks accountable for investing in the communities where they put up all these damn satellite bank tellers, where they don't need people to work there anymore because they got all the technology. So if they have one of those things in our community, then they are supposed to invest a certain amount of money in that community in the area of financial education, in the area of workforce development, in the area of all these other different things. But because we don't read legislation, we miss out on it. And
so we're not holding them accountable. They're not following it, and we're not holding them to it.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, we've got one of those tellers in my community, and I can tell you I hate it. But it's there.
It's there because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to lead. They sent us to all of these institutions of learning so that we could eventually come back home and put our own community's infrastructure together, you know? But if you're not going to go back home and do it, then do it wherever you are, but don't leave it undone.
You know, and I would say too, as well, I have been in touch with the Small Business Association. I'm understanding the hub zones. So I'm trying to do what I can. I'm getting my NACE codes. There is a lot that we can do from north, south, east, and west. So,
Absolutely.
you know, even if we are federal contractors, we could always subcontract under each other.
Exactly.
It's a laborious step and process, but nonetheless, it is out there. So, you know, those are things when you say we need to educate ourselves and even be those corporations, LLCs, you know, stop being the employee and be the employer and work together doing this.
And not just the employee, be the inventor, be the person that created the entire genre, you know, and then be the one, if you want to, that sells it and does it all over again. It's about understanding the process, you know. Create the puck. Absolutely.
That's right, Perez. That's that. We're gonna get some T-shirts, Perez. Create the puck.
You know? and because if you are in the opportunity zone, you are no longer a disadvantaged community. You are an advantaged community. And within and I'm talking about an advantage like we've never, ever seen before.
Right.
Wow.
You know, but that advantage won't be realized without some legitimate work. And it's going to start with reinvesting in our HBCUs, building around our educational centers, and matriculating those educated people into small businesses or into actual bench strength in the businesses that already exist.
And you know, the HBCUs did open up an opportunity fund, and I hope people are just getting the word out.
There's going to be a big announcement.
Okay.
June 18th, June 20th, be on the listen. There's going to be a big announcement from the White House, I believe. And I believe they're going to be announcing something big in the area of opportunity zones surrounding HBCUs. Okay. Now, when I say big, you think Robert Johnson did something big? That was nothing. That was nothing.
Okay. Well, if that was nothing, this is definitely going to be something.
Big.
Okay. Big.
It's all tied to this narrative. But again, the niche that we're talking right now is how to use blockchain to give us a leg up in this opportunity zone discussion, because of the ability to put capital to market in the shortest period of time. When those billionaires start running out of time on that money, on that 6 months to put that money in the ground, they're going to look at the most expedient routes to do that. When you're talking about contracts and all other stuff that gets signed before actual money gets cut, they are on a very hard clock. So I think we might be the one that they always call, you know, pull on the air to bring in the closer, because we have the ability to transact in the shortest amount of time.
Well, I know I'll definitely do my homework. I've been on 2 calls with the Economic Innovation Group. And in the background here, I have their slide deck And so I'll make sure that I go through that and understand all I can up until now, and just keep going from there.
Good. And I hope that we can in the future get on the phone, because I'm kind of impromptu. I want to plan these, but I'm moving around all the time, you know? But let's keep this up, and let's meet virtually as often as we can, because it's easy, but we have to be focusing on putting project plans together and actually, you know, one, taking hold of the narrative, two, creating a collective, because we're going to get the support of banks. We're going to get, because they don't have the grassroots fingers to put together what we could put together, just because these are our communities, you know? And this is a primarily Black and brown discussion. And the sooner we understand that, the quicker we'll be able to actually put real examples on the ground that everybody can follow, you know?
That's a very good point. So, Cory, do you want to go ahead? I'm sorry.
We need banks. We need micro banks. We need community banks. We need micro lending. We need a lot more micro lending.
I agree.
And a lot more helping people that have an idea get actually implemented. You know, people don't know how to translate ideas into
businesses,
but that doesn't mean that they're not good ideas. It just means that we need better mechanics for getting from idea and through implementation. And if we're the ones that put that process together, then our children's children will always eat, and as they should.
Yeah.
And, you know, I want to say too, access to capital is one of the things that really starves the oxygen out of a lot of great ideas for a lot of entrepreneurs. So if whatever we can do in working and solving that problem, I agree. Definitely.
But you know, it's interesting. Even if you go back a few steps, though, Cory, you said something that just completely hit a soft spot for me. The person with the idea oftentimes, yes, needs help, you know, realizing that idea. But the other thing is, we've got to start listening and embracing each other, because we discount people of a certain color and of a certain economic background, and they can have the best ideas, and we discount them because, oh, they don't have the degree, they don't know what they're talking about. So as a people, we need to start there. So before you can get financing, before you can get a project implementation person, we need to trust each other and lift each other up and believe in each other. When we hear that, oh, wait a minute, there's some validity to that. Wait a minute, I do that, I use that, this could work. And then support each other.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I can say that we were living in a system that made Black ideas a bad beat waiting to happen, you know? And I believe that now there's actually something that is there to strike the match that will light off a lot of these ideas in a way that before they were not designed to do that. There was nothing like this. Everything was about blockers, right? Hell, Benjamin Banneker and the guy that invented the actual light bulb, not named Thomas Edison, and all these other people that had all these great ideas that had them purchased away from them or bullied away from them or taken away from them. You know, that stuff, because of blockchain, because of your ability to create a digital signature that is more complete than your fingerprint. Because of that, we have the ability to claim what has always been ours, and which has been the creation of this whole damn nation, you know? So we just have to keep sparking that creative energy. So many people have been hit on top of the head for bringing up the great ideas that you stop doing it. And the more that we can actually start to get those things out again and make that more what we're about, is the creative process. Yes. And not just how to take the creative process to a land of financial prosperity. Money soon will be so plentiful, everybody will have it, and then what, you know?
Yeah.
Then what? If we're dealing with flooding, if the ground is flooding, it's raining, uncontrollably, you know, then what if you have all the money, you know? So we've got bigger issues infrastructurally. Look at what's happened in the Midwest, you know, rain, 40 tornadoes in a matter of 4 days. Right. Are you kidding me? We've never done nothing like that. You know, so we got major infrastructure issues to consider, major businesses that need to be empowered to go out after contracts and go out after major things that we normally leave to somebody else to do.
No, that's awesome. Eric wrote in the chat, make Black ideas great again.
It's always been great. It's just been cheap.
Right.
That's right. That's right. And parents, listen to your children, because the children have great ideas. Stop telling them to go sit down somewhere. Listen to them. Listen to the children. The young people know what they're talking about. They understand technology in a way we don't. Listen to them.
They are digital natives. They are digital natives. They are born with, they don't have the fear that we inherited from our parents concerning the digital world. They want to dive full head into it. They will put all of their bank accounts, all of their everything. They will press their button, their face, and their thumbprint. They'll give it all away because they were born in it, you know? And we can't stop it. We're the transition generation. We were born into it, but we were the first ones. I had internet. I was a freshman in college when internet came out, you know? I took computer science back when it was O's and ones and what the hell is this? I gave up, right?
Yeah.
But
no,
now
very good.
And now we have all these things that help us close the knowledge gap sooner, so that in 6 or 8 months, you can have somebody go from unemployable to making $100,000 a year.
Easy. Yeah. And that's the low end.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if that's possible, why in the hell are we sending somebody to a FIU or Johns Hopkins University in order to get $200,000 in debt and get out and get a job making $70,000 a year? I think that's hustling backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes you think about the next phase of a young person's life, and you know, those decisions on is the return out there on the investment of college anymore? You know, is it as important as it used to be? And you know, those are conversations families need to truly be having.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, there are not a million Robert Johnsons paying everybody's tuition.
Right.
So we got to have those honest conversations. And I tell you, I still pay a student loan for a child who's.
But we're a global economy. Think about the businesses that want to do business with America that are in other countries where we can be doing consulting internationally, you know? And we have to consider the role that we play as Americans in the digital economy for the entire globe. Let's compete over the 30 million people that are here when you have, you know, billions of people in other countries that just want to be able to speak English to be able to do a PowerPoint presentation to show somebody their app. We got to be a lot more conscious of the fact that we are in the place we want.
Looks like we lost you again, Cory. If we can get you clear long enough to give your contact information, if anybody wants more information, some education from you, some help. I know Miss Tanny's going to be reaching out to you.
Yes.
Okay,
Cory, how can we get a hold of you?
I'm pulling over so I can make sure this part is not messed up. So,
right. I love it. We're going to get this part clear.
My website. All right. So I'm on Instagram at the H Factor. That's THEH Factor, FACTR. And our website for Steam Revolution is www.thesteam revolution.com. We're on social. We're on YouTube. Most of my videos are just about my passion, working with the kids in the community. They are absolutely our bridge to terror, you know. And if there is a promised land, and if there is a place where, you know, minorities have a shot in America, it's going to be in that generation, and the kids who are now, you know, playing Roblox, you know. And we've got to be a lot more diligent of the future we're creating for them, not selfish about the future we're creating for us. So I think anybody that wants to get at me, you know, Cherie, please share my phone number. You know, if you can get me, you know, let's do work. You know, let's build, and because we will be held accountable for what we do with this. We will be held accountable because now that we know we are capable, and where you have capability, then you have culpability. So, and
absolutely,
let's do the work.
Tanny, any final comments for Cory, or any final comments, period?
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking that, you know, those of us who have small businesses, work on getting all your paperwork together. Maybe work on getting with the Small Business Association, get NACE codes, get DUNS numbers, do what you can so that we can all, we can collaborate. You know, if something's going on in Atlanta, I can say to my Atlanta contact, look, can you help me with this contract? So we have to start thinking intercontinentally, if that's a word.
Very good. Eric?
I know, just kind of like piggybacking exactly what Tanny just said. And I said this at the last conference that we had back in November. I believe in collective intelligence. Everybody has great ideas. When you bring that out, like, listen, let's bring that out. Let's all work together on that as a consortium. I think you would be surprised this is the level of success that could really happen in a pretty short amount of time when you start, you know, leveraging the entire thing itself. You know, we're all pretty much here, like-minded people for the most part. Let's leverage that to be able to work together.
Very good. My final comments are just to remind everyone, do your homework, right? The Tax Cuts Jobs Act and then the Community Reinvestment Act. Let's read those. Let's educate ourselves. Let's start the dialogue. Then we start to educate others. I love something Cory said, you know, we shouldn't just look at this opportunity zone as the real estate play, because it's bigger than that. And I can tell you, until this evening, I've only been thinking about it as the real estate play.
Right. Same.
So to take that perspective and now be able to absorb that into my own life and my own way of thinking, you know, wow, the possibility of having manufacturing plants never even crossed my mind, right? And bringing technology into that space. So that was awesome to now have that to think about. So Cory, thank you so much for that, brother. That was an eye opener for me.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
Yeah. This was great. Thank you to our participants. We appreciate you guys for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. For anyone watching on Facebook, thank you guys for joining. We'll bring Cory back. He's got a lot of information. We're going to get him sit somewhere though still, because Cory, your brother, you move a lot. You move a lot. But we appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts, and thank you so much. But the Black Blockchain Consultants will be talking to you again. We got plenty more to talk about. We got to educate the people.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. For those of you waiting for this game, go ahead. You got enough time to pop some popcorn, put some wings on, and get yourself ready. So, but thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.